Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live here at Simplay Motorsport. My name's Dan Davis, and once again, we are back on the F1 grid for another fascinating night's worth of racing. We are home at the British soils of Silverstone, and we have got an exciting night's worth of racing for you planned ahead. We're now coming to the halfway point of the season of the F1s, and it's been an epic season nonetheless. And let's get a couple of facts of the British Grand Prix. Obviously, most famously known for many incidences here over the years, and also the home of F1. But it is an FIA Grade 1, and it was opened in 1948, owned by the British Racing Club. And what a circuit we have here. Most iconic circuit probably in the F1 calendar, and it has produced some great racing over the years. And the length of the circuit is 3.6 miles long with 18 turns. The current lap record is actually held by Max Verstappen, a 120.0. Can these guys get near to that lap time? That is the question. Like I said, good evening everybody, welcome, and get your likes and subscribes into the channel, get your comments in as well. We've got a couple of people in the comments. Simon Blair, good luck to all the lads tonight. Also PM Motorsport saying evening, and Smithy saying evening chaps, come on the little Smith. But we are live here, currently watching the Mutts Nuts coming through the final sector now. We've already got a yellow flag in the middle sector. I'm going to get a track map up because I know a few of the drivers know this track really well. The telemetry will also have the lap data. We'll also have the track map as well, so we know who is out on track. So as the Mutts Nuts comes through here, it goes through the loop and into a tyre, then down the back straight towards the towards Wellington Straight, and then towards Brooklands. Into Brooklands he goes, then followed into Luffield. Just clipping the apex here, really difficult corner to get right, and then into a woodcut past the old main pit straight, and then down into the controversial of Copse, where Lewis and Max came together, easily flattening these cars as the Mutts Nuts actually have to drop down a gear, as then he heads towards the famous Maggots, and then into Backett's, followed by Chapel. Beautiful set of corners, most iconic set of corners here at Silverstone. Into Chapel he goes, and then down the back straight towards Wellington Straight, but he's out of this session. The Mutts Nuts with a massive hit, and he is out of this session. So we go on board with Sutty Apex as he now comes through the hangar straight towards Stowe, then Vale, and then into the chicane Club, Abbey Farm, and back to Village and Loop. Currently on board with Bryn. As the guys set some decent lap times now, as I just get the championship standings up on here. As Emprava says hi as well. Mummy D in the comments saying evening all, and Welshie as well, all saying good evening, as Gary sets the pace of 130.0 here as Sutty now starts a lap time here. As Bryn crosses the line and goes into 8th place, as we got another car off in a sector somewhere, but I'm not sure where. That's Monkey Boy. Green Pie sets the pace of a 28.4. But your championship standings looks and sounds like this. Matt Imovic leads the way. Why is this going so? Matt Imovic leads the way. In second place is Green Pies, 45 points behind. Needs to gain as much points as he possibly can. Master, who's currently not here at the minute, in third with 63 points to his name. Fourth is Gary 131. Fifth is PN Motorsport. Sixth is Emo Guy. Seventh is Sutty. Eighth is Fury. Monkey Boy in ninth place position. 10th is the Mutts Nuts. 11th is A Smith. D Biggs in 12th. Green Pies 13th. KLF in 14th. 15th is Argent. 16th is Goten Duffin. 17th is Leon Fernie. 18th is Rabbit Joe, and Bryn in 19th place, bringing up the rear. Your championship for the teams looks like this. Aston Martin with quite a gap now. 206 points to their name. 113 ahead of Williams in second place. Third is Haas. Fourth is Alpine. Fifth is McLaren. Sixth is AlphaTauri. Seventh is Alfa Romeo. 8th is Ferrari, 9th is Red Bull, and in 10th place is Mercedes-Benz. Not often you hear that Mercedes are bottom of the table. We're currently on board with Fury as he's done a 130.0, but Green Pie's already setting the pace. We've got a yellow flag in the second corner. Who is that? Looks like Bryn's had a little moment, so he can get up and going again. As Rabbit Joe also in the Haas out on track as well. He's currently on a lap time as he comes through here. And look at the minute, we've got some lovely, great weather here. Obviously got Eric in the comments saying, Para, Ride 5, Silverstone. Not sure what you're saying there, but as Bryn looks like he's had another moment and is out of the session there. We go on board with Rabbit Joe, and there is Bryn in the wall. He is now out of this qualifying session. So remember guys, these guys only got an 18-minute qualifying session. They're currently out on track trying to set their best lap times right now, as Rabbit Joe is still in his out lap. Matt is currently on a lap time. I think he's done a fast and a slow lap. As Green Pies is in the pits as well. Matt currently on the medium tyre. Sutty Apex already in third place. Not too far behind Matt, but he looks like he's on the softs. So at the minute, this is the standings on what tyres these guys are running. And at the minute, Matt, Argent and Gary all setting their lap times on the medium tyre. As the Red Bull of Argent just swings past there, Sutty Apex as he comes into the final straight. As you know, he bails into the pits. And Sutty probably goes in with him. Yes, he does. Fury currently on a lap time. Can he improve on the position that he's in at this stage? Fury's best position in this season has been a second place, and that was at Monaco as he enters to the pit lane. But this season, we've only had a couple of drivers actually take a race win. And so far, it's been the Aston Martin and the Alfa Romeo of Matahimovic and also Green Pies. The only two people to take a win in F1. Can any of the other guys take a win? That is the question. Currently on board with Gary. His best position this season has been a third place, and he's done that twice. He's done it at Imola and Monaco. Can he get himself on the top step of the podium this time? That is the question. Currently on an outlap. Also, DJ Phil currently on an outlap as well as he goes through Cops. Rabbit Joe comes to the final corner. What does he do on his best attempt? Towards the line, he goes 9th place behind Smithy. And Rabbit Joe this season coming just a little bit later on in the championship. His current best position is 9th place in the championship. Best position for him, and he's that was based at Azerbaijan as well. So Rabbit Joe just keeping his nose clean and managed to score some big points. I think Simon is the Mux possibly, as he says no, caught the inside curb and instant death. Unlucky for him there, but Gary currently on an outlap. We're on board with Monkey Boy. Best position for him this season has been 5th place, and he's done this 3 times. All races that he's raced, he has finished in 5th place position this season. So Monkey Boy really keeping it consistent in 5th, and he's currently in 5th on the times at this stage, doing it for the Alpha Atari. As Rabbit Joe is probably going to come into the pits on this lap. Currently on a lap time. He's 2/10 up at this stage. He's currently getting a little bit closer to Smithy. We've got a yellow flag in sector 2, and that's Monkey Boy out of this session. So go on boy with DJ Phil as he comes through Cops. Where is Monkey Boy? There he is. He's hit the wall relatively hard, and he is out of this session. So unlucky for him. A Rabbit Joe, I believe, has completed a lap time. He doesn't improve on his lap time, so he is currently out on track, still trying to find a little bit more pace, but he will have to come in for some fuel momentarily. As Gary also on a lap time here. He goes through the final sector into the final corner towards the line. Can Gary improve? Yes, he moves up into 5th place and knocks Monkey Boy further down as he goes through turn 1. So Gary here wanting to try and help his teammate as best as he possibly can. The 2 McLarens back out on track of Fury and Sutty. Sutty seems to have the edge over on Fury at the minute, and I believe Sutty would probably be running the pad right now, but this man Fury, like I said, second was his best position at Monaco. Oh, he has a big moment. Oh, and he keeps it together. Beautifully done there, Fury. And he now comes through the final sector to start his lap. Sutty still halfway around. But Fury starting his lap time here. Can he find any more pace? Can this youngster really start putting a bit of pressure on Matt and Green Pies? That is the question. Also, Sutty, another man to keep an eye on for pressure as well. He's very good at giving pressure out. But Rabbit Joe coming through the final sector now. Is he going to pit? Yes, he is. Into the pit lane he comes, and it's an interesting pit lane, as you can gain a little bit of time here. As there is a McLaren off in the background. I believe that's Sutty. He slowed right down. So he will now become the next car to start his lap times here. Guys, get your predictions on who you think is going to take pole position at this precise stage. It's looking like the top two once again battling it out. Matt and Green Pies looking to try and take as many points as they possibly can, as Sutty goes into turn 1 and then into turn 2, into Farms Corner, and then into Village towards the loop now, making sure he gets a good run through the corner. There's a yellow flag in the final sector, and then heads into the main straight here, Wellington Straight. He gets the DRS zone. This is where Kimi Räikkönen dropped it and hit the wall to your right hand side and then skated across. He then goes flying into Brooklyn, has taken as much speed as you possibly can, and then swing it back around into Luffield. Very easy to go a little bit wide, but you can bring it back and then head down the back straight into Woodcote, down the main straight of the old pit lane, and then heading towards Copse, making sure you haven't got a Mercedes or Red Bull near you as they drop into Copse Corner. Sutty really trying to nail this lap as best he possibly can into Maggots and Beckett's. Left, then right, and then back into a left again. Drop into gear 7. He might have to drop to 5. He does. DRS zone coming up very quick as he goes through Chapel. DRS zone wide open as he goes down the back straight into Hangar Straight. Many cars lost their tyres a couple of years ago in 2013 as he goes into Stowe. Really tricky corner there, and then into Vale, but Sutty chooses to pit on this lap and does not improve. So Sutty into the pits as we go on board with Fury. And Sutty didn't allow me to finish the lap. So Fury currently on a lap time right now. Who's currently also out? Argent is coming into the final sector. So it is Fury who will be next, as Aston Martin of Gary 131 has gone back out on track. Pierre Emplaba says, why doesn't Kelly race F1 anymore? Due to other commitments, he is unable to race. So sadly we don't have Kelly no more. But Fury coming through, oh, as he goes very wide through Stowe there and then into Vale. He goes, making sure he nails Club. And he comes out the final corner there. Does he improve on his lap time? He goes second with the medium tyres. So Fury second overall so far. It's a good lap time from him. Brilliant stuff there from Fury. So a couple other guys coming through the final few sectors now. Goten Duffin out the final corner. Big wiggle towards the line. He doesn't improve on 12. But PN Motorsport moves up into 6th place position. Good stuff there from PN for the Ferrari team. Team Scuderia Ferrari there, putting in a decent lap time as Gary comes across the line to start his final lap here, as Fury's had a little spin. Just had a little spin on the exit of Luffield into Woodcote there. So Fury up and running again. So we didn't have that yellow flag out for too long. The two Red Bulls coming into the final sector. Kieran Argent in the Red Bull, currently on a lap time. Is he going to improve on the medium tyre? He does. He finds half a second and goes up into 6th place position. Monkey Boy's lap times are going further and further down. Red Bull once again of DJ Phil crosses the line and doesn't improve. Who is then next? Fury coming on in lap, I believe, as Goten Duffin and the Ferrari of PN Motorsport. Both of these guys look like they're on a hot lap. As Goten lets PN through as he goes down the back straight. He got the DRS zone wide open as he now heads up into Stowe corner into Vale as he goes to the pit lane, and he is bailed out on that one. So Sutty currently at the minute out on an out lap as well. A couple of the guys will be starting to come in and do their final lap times. Fury will probably get a new set of boots and head out, but Sutty on the red marked tyre. What can he do as he starts his, probably his last attempt? He goes through the final sector now. Can Sutty find a little bit more as Gary goes second fastest now? Just missed that. Gary crossing the line and goes second fastest overall, and now splits Fury and Green Pies. Everyone now coming out on a fresh set of tyres, and Matt and Green Pies have come out together. But let's go back on board with Sutty. He's the man who looks like he's on a decent lap time here, as he comes through the middle sector now. Sector 1, we didn't get to see what kind of lap times he was looking at, but he comes through Copse Corner into Maggots and Beckett's he goes. Can Sutty find a little bit more pace? Can he get up with his McLaren teammate? Currently on the soft tyre, so he should be able to find a little bit more pace. He negotiates the tricky Maggots and Beckett's really well, goes through a little left hand kink down towards Stowe as he goes past Chapel and Hanger straight into Stowe he goes. This is a decent lap from Sutty. So the yellow flag, Matt letting Green Pies go. He's green in the middle sector is Sutty Apex, so he's on a better lap towards the final corner. Into Club he goes. What is this lap time going to be? He goes pole position. Sutty Apex takes pole position here at this stage of qualifying. So what can the others do as Green Pies and Matimovic are together on track, and they're going to be holding one another up. These two, the only two to win a race here on the F1 Championship, are battling it out once again. Keep your eyes out for Gary, Fury, all these guys could put in a decent lap time. Fury is done for this session. Anyone who's in the pits is done. What? As we got a yellow flag, that is Sutty slowing down. Sutty looking good, but DJ Phil crosses the line and he'll have to concede 11th place possession. So DJ Phil is done for the session and he will start on the medium tyre. Who is then next to come towards the line? It is the AlphaTauri of Smithy. He's into the final sector now, into the chicane, and then into Club. What can he do from here? Smithy exits the final corner. Can he get any higher than 9th place position? He goes in 7th. So A. Smith finds that extra pace. Next man to come across the line is Gary 131. He's heading into the final sector now, into the final chicane, and Green Pies has dropped it. He's in the wall. So Green Pies is not going to be on pole position here. Sutty Apex is looking good for pole at the minute. What can Gary do? Towards the line, Gary goes second. Arch rivals of Gary and Sutty go on the front row. Sutty is currently heading towards the final sector now. Matt is coming flying through here. Matt is on a lap time here. Is Matt going to take pole position, or is Sutty going to hang on and take his first pole position here in F1? As Peaceful Stepdad says, good evening everyone, with a waving emoji. Matt in the final sector now. Can he improve? He takes pole position with a 27.9. Matimovic takes pole away from Sutty Apex, as Green Pies exits the final sector now and will not be able to complete a next flying lap. So Green Pies is going to have to settle for 4th place. Green Pies, not what he would have wanted here. He will start in 4th place position. But it is Matimovic who takes your pole position here tonight for the British Grand Prix. Sutty Apex nearly with the pole position there, but Matt managed to just catch him right at the end there. Great stuff there for Matt. An extra point, an extra pole position to his name, and he'll be very happy with that for sure. So this is your qualifying result. Matimovic take pole position from Sutty Apex. 3rd is Gary 131. 4th is Green Pies. He has a bit of work to do, but he is on that medium tyre. So is Fury and Argent, who are starting 5th and 6th. 7th is A Smith, 8th is PM Motorsport, 9th is Monkey Boy, 10th is Rabbit Joe, 11th is DJ Phil, 12th is Go 10 Duffin, and the Mutts, Nuts and Bryn never set a lap time in the end. And it's going to be an interesting race nonetheless. Types of tyres these guys use, there's quite a few drivers who used a lot of tyres, Gary being one, and also A Smith. You all use relatively a lot of tyres, while Sutty only stuck with the soft tyres. And Phil in the comments saying 11th down to 14th, get free choice of tyres. That's very true. DJ Phil, all the guys who are below 10th place do get a choice of tyres, but they're going to need a lot from the leading pack to get them back up towards the front. As we're about to get underway here, we are at the penultimate round. We are at the halfway stage, round 8. We're at Silverstone for looks like to be an exciting race. Green Pie is having to start 4th on the medium tyre while everyone else is on the softs around him. He's got to pass one McLaren. He's got an Aston Martin right in front of him and a little bit further up ahead. As we're about to get underway here at Silverstone for the formation lap. That's what the strategy looks for Matt. Soft straight to medium. And again, medium to soft, looking like a one-stop for the guys here. So, your running order for this race here at Silverstone. It is Matt Tahimovic who takes pole position. Sutty Apex in 2nd place, probably his best qualifying session since he's been in the F1 Championships. Gary in 3rd, Green Pie starting in 4th place position. 5th is Fury, 6th is Argent, 7th is A Smith, 8th is Piano Motorsport, 9th is Monkey Boy, 10th is Rabbit Joe. He'll be quite happy with that one. DJ Phil will start 11th. Then it's Go 10 Duffin in 12th. 13th is the Mutts Nuts, and bringing up the rear is Bryn. Guys, get your predictions in on who you think is going to take this race win here at Simplay Motorsport for the British Grand Prix. So far, it's a Welshman who's on pole position. Can Sutty Apex take this race advantage away from Matt? That is your question. Also, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as well, and hit the bell to be notified for when we are live here at Simplay Motorsport. And also make sure you tune in to this week's racing as we head to America for Laguna Seca for the next round of the GT3 Pro and Pro-Am Championship, as these guys are all racing one another on the warm-up lap, and all this is doing is wearing their tyres out personally. So Gary desperate to be in front for only the small amount of time that he's allowed in front. So much for not overtaking on a formation lap. These guys are just messing around, which isn't great to see, if I'm honest. But we are about to get underway here for the 52-lap race of the British Grand Prix here at Silverstone. Who is going to take the win? That is the question. Also, just a reminder to people, next week will not be an F1 race. We take a break as the World Endurance return as they head to Japan for Fuji, for the 6 hours of Fuji. A night race as well, so look forward to that on next Saturday. And also, the F1 actually does return as the revs rise here. It is Matovic on pole, Sutty alongside, Rep 5 lights. And we go here at the British Grand Prix, and it looks like they all get a decent start other than the McLaren of Fury, but Green Pie's looking all over the place to try and get down the inside of the 2 Aston Martins. But it is Sutty Apex who goes side by side with Matt into turn 3. And Sutty goes down the inside and takes the race lead here as the 2 Aston Martins are trying to defend from Green Pies and push him out wide, and Green Pies dropping further back, but Sutty leads this race. Everyone else feeding their way through as best they possibly can, but it is Sutty who leads the race, and it's Go really defensive there. A couple of guys in the background, but Matt looking around the outside. But he looks like he hangs in there, does Sutty, and Gary still holding back Green Pies at the minute. That's allowed Kieran Arjun to get right onto the back of Green Pies. All these guys on the medium tyre. But Matt here looking to try and make a move on Sutty and Matt, and they're going to Cops. Are they able to get the job done? Sutty hangs it on into Cops there. Matt runs a little bit wide, and he can't do a Verstappen and go around the outside. But it looks like Matt will have to sit behind that McLaren now. Brilliant racing so far from these guys. Looking further down in the pack, we got Bryn, who's had a great start. He's up to 7th place. The Nuts also improving on 8th, but he's lost out to Monkey Boy and get Fury, the biggest loser out of all of them. Also, DJ Phil dropping down the pack, as is Rabbit Joe. PN Motorsport lost out massively, but it is Matovic who goes for the race lead here as they go into the chicane. Gary watching this, and he sends it on all of them. And it's now Aston Martin 1-2. Matt has a wiggle. Gary now leads this race. What a send-it maneuver from Gary. He now leads the race here as Green Pies looks to the inside of Sutty Apex and he gets the job done. Sutty drops down. So Green Pies gets the advantage there. Can Sutty Apex do anything about that Alfa Romeo? That is the question. Probably not now. He could probably stretch his legs. But we go on board with Gary now, and he looks like he's having to defend from Matt, his teammate, as Green Pies runs very wide in the background. And Rabbit Joe dropping to the back of the pack. So Gary with the best start he could possibly ask for here. Sends it into the chicane and now leads this race. Can he pull away? That is the question. Aston Martin 1-2 on their home turf here at the British Grand Prix. The Green Pies hunting him down. The Irishman, can he get past these two as Matt runs really wide in Cop's corner? What else is going on up and down the pack as Argent's on his way up into 5th place as Bryn's still trying to stay ahead of Fury in 8th place. Monkey Boy looking to make a move on the Mutts Nuts in 10th place position, but he's unable to do anything there. We move back up to the front as the two Aston Martins are battling it out, both on the soft tyre, while Green Pies behind them is on the medium tyre, and Green Pies is looking for any opportunity. He's looking everywhere, but he's looking down the inside of Matt. He can't get the job done. Matt defends position, but Green Pies goes around the outside. He has the inside for the next corner. Matt just keeps it pinned. That's going to give Sutty an invitation to have a look around. Gary sets the fastest lap of the race. Green Pies running exceedingly wide out of club there. He's in the dirty air. Sutty just seems to be struggling a little bit to stick to the back of these guys. How much life has he taken out of those tyres as Bryn is right onto the back of A. Smith, and A. Smith trying everything he possibly can to stay ahead of the Mercedes of Bryn, as Bryn has a little wiggle on exit. As Bryn now right onto the back of the AlphaTauri, and it's nice to have all 14 cars still going here so far. Can we have our first race where all the drivers finish? That is the question, as PM Motorsport has now made a move on Go10 Duffin. But we go back to the front, and it's Gary ahead of Matt and Green Pies. This is the view from behind as we've got a yellow flag in Sector 2, and that's Bryn. He's dropping right down the order. He's made a mistake in Cops. He should be able to get going again. As we go onto the back of Matt, he now gets the DRS. Can he get past Gary 131? His teammate Matt looks to the outside, but there's nowhere for him to go. But right behind him is Green Pies. Green Pies looking to the inside. Can he get the job done? No, as Matt defends it. Oh, as Gary's gone deep by the sounds of things. Green Pies really running out wide there. He's really off track limits there. That's a little bit naughty from Green Pies. We'll have to keep an eye on that, as it's probably pushing the limit there. And he's looking down the inside of Matt into turn 3. Matt's trying to shut the door on him, and Green Pies has a wiggle, and he can't seem to get the job done, but he's going to try and do the outside in the loop as they go towards the hangar straight. These two rubbing doors with one another. Green Pies trying everything. This is allowing Gary just to extend his legs a little bit and pull away, but he's unable to do anything about it. Also, Fury has now managed to drop A. Smith. A. Smith just on the back of Fury. I think Fury got the DRS zone and has now moved ahead. Also, Rabbit Joe and Go10 Duffin also relatively close to one another, looking like they're trying to fight for a position in 13th and 12th place position so far. Oh, Gary running a little bit wide through Cops there, as all these guys are starting to concertina up, and also Argent not too far from these guys. Sutty just trying to stick to the back of Green Pies. All these guys running really, really well here. And like I said, no retirements, no safety cars, no virtual safety cars. This is brilliant stuff here at the British Grand Prix. but your top 5 are starting to pull away now. Argent looking very good on those medium tyres, just sticking to the leaders at the minute, and is able to just stick with these guys and push them a little bit. So do get the tyre image up. Gary now struggling for pace, I think, out in front, but Matt is right with him. All these guys know this circuit very, very well. As Fury's mom in the comments saying, evening all, hope is all good. Come on, Fury. Hope everyone had a good weekend, sorry. As he says, come on, Fury. Gary now about to lose out to his teammate Matt, who goes down the inside and then into turn. And Matt now gains the position over Gary 131. Where is Green Pies? He's just behind them as well. But it looks like Sutty Apex is trying to give Green Pies a little bit of a headache as well. Still, those soft tyres will eventually die as Argent has a moment. He's on the grass. But he's managed to get it together again. Fury now just dropping off these guys at a minute. Not able to stick with their pace right now. But he has cleared the rest of the pack. As PM Motorsport, Goten Duffin and Rabbit Joe all battling it out. As we go back to the front, Gary has stuck with Matt. And they now come into the DRS zone. Can Gary find a way past up through Hanger straight into Stowe? He takes a lot of curb there. He gets side by side with his teammate. They head towards the chicane and then into club. Green Pies is there. Sutty's there. As these two are too busy tripping over one another. The Alfa Romeo could have a sniff of an opportunity to get past. Gary lifts and defends the inside. Green Pies hits the back of Gary 131. So now Green Pies have front wing damage. But Sutty Apex setting the fastest lap of that race and has got ahead of the Alfa Romeo. So Sutty Apex now moves up a spot. These Aston Martins are driving a little bit sketchy for my opinion, if I'm honest. Bit all over the shot. And that's allowing the McLaren of Sutty Apex to catch onto the back of them. Green Pies with that front wing damage will struggle to stick with them. And Green Pies has a look as Gary now retakes the lead. We move back to the Mutts Nuts and A Smith. They're battling it out. The Mutts Nuts down the inside. Can he get the job done? Williams versus AlphaTauri as the Williams hits him and he goes round. And we got a yellow flag there due to the Mutts Nuts dropping it, but he's able to get going again. But now Matt has dropped behind Gary again. Gary now in the lead of this race as Green Pies now loses another place to Argent. Argent now ahead of Green Pies. He's really suffering with that front wing damage. Green Pies is probably going to have to pit this lap, but he's hoping for a safety car or a virtual safety car. But at this stage, the two Aston Martins are too busy dicing one another for race win. But who they dragging with them is Sutty Apex right now, who's well ahead. And a lot of track limits from these boys. With Gary. Oh, Gary has a wiggle. That gives Sutty the opportunity to go down the inside. And it gets the job done. But Gary's going to fight it and they make contact. Sutty's gone round. Sutty's managed to keep it out of the wall. So where is the rest of them? Fury's going to make sure he doesn't hit his teammate. So Sutty trying to get going again. But all these guys driving a little bit sketchy. I think Argent's in as well. Why is Argent coming so early? He's got front wing damage as well. Yellow flag in the final sector. That's to allow Sutty to get going once again. So Sutty's race has just gone backwards. And I think these two Aston Martin boys need to just chill out a minute. But Gary is actually starting to come back at Matt. Matt seems to just don't have the pace on Gary at the minute. Gary seems to be a little bit quicker here and there, but the DRS is keeping him in this race. Fury now up into third place after a slow start to this race. He's now up into third place. He's got a couple of guys behind him, but Sutty now is on a move. DJ Phil has dropped behind him. Sutty now looking to recover some positions. As we got a yellow flag set to 2. Fury is in the wall. Can he get it going? He's got to get back on track as quickly as he possibly can without causing an incident. And he does so. The Mutts Nuts goes past. His teammate Sutty is going to go past as well. So McLaren looking like they have a solid start. And now dropping down the field. It's now AlphaTauri who's sitting third and fourth place. As Gary 131 gets a 3-second penalty for multiple track limits. And I knew these boys would get caught out for track limits eventually. But the two Aston Martins still leading this race. Where is Green Pies, he is on the back of the pack and struggling to catch up. But he is on the soft tyre at this stage. He goes purple middle sector. So Green Pies on those fresh set of tyres can try and catch the leaders, as Sutty and PM Motorsport both come into the pits. So they're wanting to get rid of that soft tyre as quickly as they possibly can. Fury staying out on the medium right now, trying to stick to the Mutts Nuts. So Fury at the minute in 6th place position, trying to stick to the group ahead of him. But it's the two Mercedes drivers of Bryn and Go10 Duffin racing one another at the minute. From 9th and 10th place, Sutty opting to go onto the hard tyre here. So he's going to try and go to the end. And they come out quite a bit behind Argent and Green Pies. Green Pies is long down the road. As PM Motorsport looks like he's had a moment. He's had a little spin. He can get it going again. But Matt has extended his lead to Gary 131, a second ahead now. A Smith currently in 3rd, Monkey Boy in 4th place, trying to hunt down his teammate. The Mutts Nuts in 5th place, Fury in 6th place position at this stage after a little spin. DJ Phil now up into 7th place. Rabbit Joe in 8th place, with Bryn now moving up into 9th ahead of his teammate Go10 Duffin. 11th is Green Pies after his little front wing damage. Can he get on the back of the leaders? Argent in 12th place on the hard tyres, with Sutty also opting to go for the hard tyres in 13th, and PN Motorsport in 14th place position. So the closest fight at the minute is probably Fury and the Mutts Nuts. Can Fury catch onto the back of the Mutts Nuts? That is the question, as Fury just seems to be struggling with tyre wear a little bit on the mediums. As Green Pie sets the fastest lap of the race at 31.5. He is flying now. He is on his own and on those soft tyres. Left Argent for dead. He has completely gone up the road. And he is going to now start wanting to clear traffic as quickly as he possibly can. And some of them, the first target that Green Pies has is this man, Go10 Duffin, will be the first person he has to try and clear. As Aston Martin still lead this race 1-2 at this stage. Green Pies now hunting Go10 Duffin as quickly as he possibly can. He needs to start clearing traffic as quickly as he can. So Green Pies going through Maggots and Beckets right now. Can see the Mercedes car in front of him of Go10 Duffin. He gains a lot of time through Maggots and Beckets. He should be able to get DRS as well. Don't think he does. So Go10 Duffin, can he defend from Green Pies? Here he comes. Down the inside goes Green Pies as the Mutts Nuts decides to pit. But Green Pies unable to do anything about it. He gets really close to the back of the Mercedes. Green Pies once again taking a lot of track limits as he looks down the inside of the chicane. He can't find the place there. Go10 trying his best to hold off Green Pies. Go10 is also Matt's son, Floyd, and looks like Green Pies has got a run. Into turn 1 they go, and Green Pies looks like he's got the job done as he go into turn 1. So Green Pies has managed to do one car. The next interesting fight is between these three. DJ Phil, Rabbit Joe, and Bryn. Bryn just dropped off the back of these two a minute, but Rabbit Joe looking to try and make a move on DJ Phil. Looks to the inside, but he gets a little bit too close, makes contact. And that is it. Rabbit Joe has lost time there to Bryn. That's going to give him, that's going to allow him to be vulnerable to Green Pies now. Green Pies right onto the back of him as DJ Phil just seems to be struggling a little bit here at this stage as they head towards Copse Corner. But Green Pies is now onto the back of Rabbit Joe. He can see his next car to try and overtake the Haas of Rabbit Joe. Rabbit Joe towards Maggots and Beckets we go. As I can see all the chat, most of Smithy and Fury's mum are all having a good little chin wag as they're chatting. But Green Pies now with the DRS zone looks to make a move on Rabbit Joe, and Rabbit Joe can't do nothing about it. And Green Pies has an easy overtake there, moving him up into 8th place position. His next target is Bryn. 85 is the next car for him to overtake. And these lot are having a great fight for 6th and 7th place right now. So DJ Phil leading this pack at the minute. Smithy says, N-Dubs, you legend. Hope you've had a great weekend. I have. Thank you very much. And I hope everyone else has had a great weekend. And just a reminder, next week, F1 does actually come back. What are these 2022 cars is going to look like? As Bryn sends it down the inside of DJ Phil there. He gets a little wiggle on exit. Green Pies is nervous about all of this. There's Green Pies with the DRS there. He then goes in front. Bryn also stays in front, but Green Pies is going to have to go around the outside of Bryn, but he's unable to do so. DJ Phil right there with Green Pies. Just makes slight contact with him. So Green Pies in the middle of a fight here that he doesn't need to be a part of. If Bryn pushes Green Pies wide, that's going to allow DJ Phil a great run here. So DJ Phil looking to make a move around the Alfa Romeo Green Pies, but he goes into Cops and he can't do it. So now Bryn ahead of Green Pies. Green Pies now needs to clear the Mercedes as quickly as he possibly can. But so far he's unable to do so. Into the hangar straight they go. And DRS for Green Pies as Bryn really squeezes Green Pies there, but Green Pies with the DRS with a much better advantage. Heads up into the quick right-hander, and that is Green Pies ahead of Bryn. Green Pies having to do it the hard way around as Rabbit Joe now catches onto the back of DJ Phil. So the next target for Green Pies is Fury CBK. And then there's quite a gap to Monkey Boy. And then it's 15 seconds to Gary, as Sutty at the minute on the hard tyre doesn't seem to have the pace at this stage. Just seems to be struggling with the hard tyre. As the Mutts Nuts is just ahead of him. PM Motorsport bringing up the rear. For your order after 12 laps is Matimovic, who leads the way and extends his gap now over to Gary 131. Third place is A. Smith. Fourth is Monkey Boy. Fifth is Fury, and just catching on to the back of these two is he. Sixth place is now Green Pies after doing a pit stop. Bryn in 7th. 8th is DJ Phil. And 9th is Rabbit Joe. 10th is Go 10 Duffin. 11th is Argent. 12th is the Mutts Nuts. Sati Apex in 13th, and bringing up the rear is PN Motorsport in 14th position. But let's go to the two AlphaTauris at the minute. We haven't seen much of these guys at this stage, and both of these boys doing a fantastic job as Monkey Boy bails into the pits, and Fury will now gain that 4th place position that he lost earlier with a little spin into the gravel trap near Cops. That's going to give Green Pies an extra position as well. One less car for him to worry about. As Rabbit Joe moves up a position as DJ Phil comes into the pits. Bryn now moves up to 6th. Rabbit Joe up into 7th as Monkey Boy pits and DJ Phil pits. Onto the soft tyre goes DJ Phil, so he looks like he's two-stopping. Also in the pits is Go 10 Duffin. What's he going to? He's going to the hard tyre, so he's looking to try and go to the end. This is allowing Sutty to move up a couple of places. But he's unable to stick to Monkey Boy, so Monkey Boy stays ahead of Sutty Apex. The top two at the minute just pulling away from A. Smith. Matimovic and Gary just pulling away from him. And A. Smith just doing everything he possibly can, staying out of trouble once again has put him up into this podium position, but doesn't quite have the pace over the Aston Martins. Fury not too far behind. Opting start on the medium tyre, but right now that doesn't seem to be doing Fury any favours. As A. Smith has now come into the pits himself. So where's this going to drop him compared to his teammate? His teammate currently is at the hangar straight. On the medium tyre is Monkey Boy, so he could possibly go to the end. Green Pie setting fastest lap after fastest lap. So he's looking good at the minute as Fury's had another moment. Fury's had another spin. That gives Green Pies the open road. and Fury now drops to 4th place. Fury's race is just going backwards from here, and it's not panning out the way he wanted to. So Green Pie is now on the move, as Argent has made a move on Ace Smith, as Ace Smith is into the pits. He exits out and he's right in front of his teammate, both on different tyre strategy, and Monkey Boy a lot closer to his teammate than he possibly would have wanted, and has now got to try and pass his teammate. He should have DRS, but Ace Smith will have the tyre advantage being on the soft tyres. That's Monkey Boy trying to find a way past his teammate. They've been outdone by Argent, who's currently on the hard tyre. So what can these AlphaTauri boys do? Is Ace Smith with those soft tyres is able to pull away. I've only recently discovered that I can use this camera now, which is nice. We can also have a look to the side and in front as well. So Ace Smith looking to try and hunt down Argent, but Argent looking to try and go to the end. And the gap between the top 3, 25 seconds. Green Pies is quite a bit behind, but he needs to start pumping in fastest lap after fastest lap, as the AlphaTauri team are being massively supported by Smithy. Go Team Monkey Boy and Little Smith. Team AlphaTauri working together to try and work their way up the pack. Fury is now onto the back of Bryn. Can Bryn hang on to this, or will Fury start hunting him down? Bryn onto the grass. Fury gets really close to the back of that wing of Bryn. Fury down the inside. Oh, he just clips Bryn a little bit there. That gives Bryn a little wiggle. Fury around the outside. Can he get the job done? No, Bryn will have to stay behind. But Fury with the DRS, he will look down to the inside. There he goes, and into the lead, into 4th place does Fury, but also Rabbit Joe is right behind as well. Oh, as Bryn just makes contact with Fury there. That's probably going to give Bryn more damage than anything, but Rabbit Joe right onto the back of the Mercedes. And I've got to say, lap 15, and we still got all 14 cars. Probably just cursed myself there. Oh, as Bryn runs a little bit wide by the looks of things. He does so, and he allows Rabbit Joe through. Argent slowly catching on to the back of these guys at this stage. But all 14 cars still currently on track, which is great to see. Fury back up into 4th place, and is now ahead of the pack behind him. Oh, Fury with a wiggle there. Fury trying to go as long as he possibly can on these mediums so he doesn't have to pit again. He keeps having little mistakes here and there as Bryn is into the pits. That's going to give a couple of guys a couple of positions as well. Monkey Boy on the medium tyre just can't match his teammate's pace at the minute. He's currently on the softs. He's got the Mutts Nuts breathing down his neck in the Williams. Currently the Mutts Nuts best position this season has been a 4th at Australia. So what can the Mutts Nuts do about Monkey Boy? Bryn currently in the pits. This is your closest fight out on track. Monkey Boy ahead. The Mutts Nuts with DRS not quite able to get close enough. Maybe the Mutts Nuts is carrying more downforce than Monkey Boy in a straight line. Monkey Boy seems to be a little bit faster, but the Mutts Nuts can't seem to find a way through. Also, Ace Smith has managed to catch Argent, who's on the hard tyre. Great angle there. Now Monkey Boy and the Mutts Nuts go through that section as well. The Mutts Nuts come through Maggots and Beckett's. Can he get a little bit closer to Monkey Boy as they go down the hanger straight? Obviously the Monkey Boy on the medium tyre will be struggling to have overall fast performance, but he will be able to go longer than the Mutts Nuts. The Mutts Nuts really starting to put pressure on the AlphaTauri, and will hope to use the advantage of the DRS zone. But this is Ace Smith. He's now catching Argent relatively quickly, as they're starting to catch Rabbit Joe quite quickly. I think Rabbit Joe's had a mistake somewhere. And this is Argent looking from the rear ring of him. Can Argent hold on to this position? He's currently in 6th place on the hard tyre. He's going long. We have a yellow flag. It's sector 2, and that's Green Pies. Green Pies is out of this race. We got a safety car. Green Pies is out of this race. Also, the Mutts Nuts is out. What's happened to the Mutts Nuts? He may have had contact with Monkey Boy, but the Mutts Nuts is out as well. Let's go on board. Let's see what's happened to Green Pies. Where's his car? There it is. He's hit the front wing and he's lost the wheel. That gives Matt and Gary an opportunity to come into the pits. They're double stacking here. Whoa, we got our first safety car. Goten Duff in a drive-through penalty. Gary's being held up. What does Fury do? He's nowhere near, so Aston Martin give a brilliant opportunity for a 1-2, and they've had a free pit stop. Wow. If I was Matt, and I'm hoping that Matt would be listening to me right now, I think your teammate deserves to at least stay at least one race win. You've had too many race wins this season, so Gary 131. If you're listening as well, mate, give Matt hell. Let's stop this Matt and Green Pies winning streak. Come on, Gary. Let's see you take it to these boys. Fury into the pits. Rabbit Joe into the pit. Argent is coming into the pits. A Smith's into the pits. Green Pies is opting to stay out. Sutty staying out on the hard tyre as well. So these guys are wanting to go to the end by the looks of things. PM Motorsport into the pits. Simon, if you got your footage, please, mate, send it into either myself or Peaceful, and we will review it in the F1 Stewards. But we'll have to find out a little bit more about that one. But if you have got footage, mate, please send it in, and we will review it. But DJ Phil up into 9th place after a couple of guys taking a pit stop, as PM Motorsport was one of them. But the massive advantage that the two Aston Martins have had has completely come to an end, as the Aston Martin car does lead the way. And if you have just joined in, guys, the big shock of this race is that Green Pies is out of this race, and he will not be able to make the next race, which is in 2 weeks' time, and I believe we go to the Hungaroring. I will have to double check that one. But Matt Imovic leads the way from Gary 131, Aston Martin 1, 2 and 3 at this stage with the safety car. So it's all green at the front. Monkey Boy now up into 3rd place after to decide to stay on the medium tyre. Sutty Apex in 4th place on the hard tyre, but Fury on the soft tyres will look very racy and try and pass his teammate as quickly as he can. Rabbit Joe up into 6th place after taking a pit stop. Argent now up into 7th. A Smith up into 8th place. DJ Phil in 9th. Bryn in 10th place position. 11th is PN Motorsport, and bringing up the rear is Goten Duffin. I wouldn't say that just yet, Green Pies. It takes Matt to have a mistake, so there's still race on, mate. There's still race on for sure. My championship is done, no chance. And are you definitely sure you're not able to make the next race? Because reminder that the next race of the championship is not until, it's not next week, it's the week after, as the World Endurance Championship hits the track. So make sure you tune in next week, as we will have the World Endurance Championship on. Matt said if Floyd was second, he would let him win. Right now, that's unlikely to happen. Floyd currently in 12th place at this stage. I really don't see the hard tyre working at this stage. The guys who are running the hards, which is Sutty and a couple others, Argent as well, they just didn't seem to have the pace. Green Pies, was that just a genuine mistake that you made? Did you just drop it on all by yourself and in the wall? I would love to know about that one. But at the minute, Aston Martin looking very good to take massive points here in the team's championship. We're just waiting on the last few guys. Matt has come second or first in every single race, and yeah, 2 weeks I'm away. Oh, that's a shame, mate, but at least you only missed one round, and anything can still happen. Matt can make a mistake, he can still be out of this race as well, as the Mutts Nuts has left the session after the contact. But anything can still happen. I would love to get a commentator in and possibly jump in myself and try and annoy you lot for a round or two. I could win every race after Hungary and Matt would still win. Still, anything can happen, mate. Yourself has just dropped out tonight. He could have a bad round. Anything can happen. Never say never. Or a substitute, maybe be able to come in at some point. Jose, I'm joking. Would be able to come in and really put a bit of pressure on the leaders as well. But Matt does lead this race at this stage. The car just spun because I tapped the gravel. So your own mistake there, and it's sad to hear that you've had to drop to the back of the pack of this one, and then Green Pies, and also out of the points, so you won't score points either. But come back strong for Hungary, and I'm pretty sure that you will be able to take the fight to Matt. Don't give up just yet, mate, because the championship is still alive at this stage. Plus, I'm also sick of seeing Matt win all the time. As I am trying to find Canada for the F1 just to make sure. So the Hungaroring will be the next round, and then we head to Belgium and then the Netherlands. So all still to play for, even though we're at the halfway stage. Green Pies is still all to play for. Matt can have a bad round. Any one of these guys can have a bad round, and that is it. The championship is blown wide open. So you run in order at this stage. Lap 20. And 32 to go. Matimovic leads the way. Second place is Gary 131. Third is Monkey Boy. Fourth is Sutty Apex. Fifth is Fury. Sixth is Rabbit Joe. Seventh is Argent. Eighth is A Smith. Ninth is Bryn. 10th is PN Motorsport. 11th is Go10 Duffin. And 12th place is DJ Phil. So next round will be Spa for you, Green Pies. Yeah, Spa would be the next round for yourself. So a track that I know you do very well at. So we'll see what that brings. And also wet weather could help play into this championship as well. So anything can still happen. This championship is well open. As safety car is in this lap. As Green Pies comes into the chat and says he's coming back with no mercy. So you boys better step up your game, because Green Pies will return a lot stronger. But Matt is now backing up the pack. He doesn't want to go too slow and too fast. He wants to keep the pace at a nice pace as Gary is ready to pounce. Come on, Gary. Green Pies is out of this race. Take the fight to Matt. Take the fight to Matt. There's no team orders. Go for it. Let loose. Come on, Gary. You can do this. Also, Monkey Boy is right there as well. He's looking good as Rabbit Joe opts to pit. So he's coming in. That's a weird call from Rabbit Joe. Possibly front wing damage. As Matt has gone. Gary a poor start. Monkey Boy even worse. But Sati hasn't gone with him. This whole pack is just strung out. So Matt has really got a good jump here. As Rabbit Joe's into the pits probably to repair his front wing. And I really do hope Gary's listening, and I hope he's going to be pressurising Matt right now. As Sutty now in fourth place on the hard tyre. If I was Sutty, I'd allow his teammate to go. He's on the soft tyre. He can now try and manoeuvre his way through. Sutty defends the inside, and he lets his teammate through, as I thought. Sutty on the harder tyre, going long until the end of this race. So there's no point fighting your teammate. Hold up the rest of the pack. Sargent looking around the outside, but is unable to do anything about it. Sutty on the hard tyre will be struggling for pace right now, but so Argent on the medium. He'll have decent pace, but not as good as Fury, as Fury is now on his way to attack Monkey Boy, and Monkey Boy is under massive pressure here. Fury's got a great run through cops. Those soft tyres really helping him, but Sutty also got Argent breathing down his neck. Argent looking on the inside, drops back, as also DJ Phil and Go10 are separating between each other. But we got a yellow flag in sector 2. Who is that? Who's off? Nope. Oh, just for a minute there we had a yellow flag, but Fury looking down the inside of a Monkey Boy. He can't get the job done, but Gary is taking the fight to Matt. That's what we want to see, Gary. Take the fight to him. As Monkey Boy still trying to defend from Fury. Oh, Monkey Boy runs a bit wide. That's give Fury a sniffing opportunity. He's running to the back of him. He will get a good run through turn 1 and 2. He should get a good opportunity into the hairpin. But Fury not quite able to stick with him at this stage. But Gary now is right onto the back of his teammate Matt. DRS still not enabled yet, so these guys are going to have to battle it out. Come on, Gary. Take the fight to him. Gary doesn't get the DRS. But Fury now still also trying to find a way past Monkey Boy. Sati still holding it strong on the hard tyre as Goten Duffin has to pit. And he's going from the hards and he's switching tyres by the looks of things. But Bryn also makes a move on A. Smith. A. Smith's just struggling on the medium tyres. So Bryn's now up a place in the Mercedes. That's going to allow PN Motorsport to get a little bit closer. But we go back to the front. Fury now right onto the back of Monkey Boy. Monkey Boy holding on to that third place position for dear life right now. But Fury is coming at him as they exit towards the hangar straight. Also Argent pressurising Sutty. Argent has a little wiggle there. But Fury not quite close enough yet. Can Fury find a way past? That's the question. Is he going to look to the inside of the chicane? No, he doesn't. He goes in a little bit deep. So he should be able to get a good exit out of club. A. Smith now up into 7th place position as now DRS is enabled. Fury is right on the back of that AlphaTauri. Fury just needs to be patient and pick his time of when he attacks. He is on the faster tyre than the guys in front of him. As Monkey Boy is actually sticking with the Aston Martins. We're too busy racing one another. They don't seem to be as happy on the medium tyre. But Fury now with DRS, he's sure to get through here. There is the DRS zone. Fury is coming. And he goes down the inside and up into 3rd place. He goes deep though. Much too late on the brakes. He would have had that if he didn't go deep. And I think Fury with the soft tyres could really affect the Aston Martins. But he's just gone too deep. Monkey Boy makes a mistake though. He runs wide. This is not helping Sutty out. He's just trying to mind his own race on the hard tyres and he's struggling here. So Sutty trying to bring that gap down to Fury. As I think someone just touched the gravel ever so slightly. So Monkey Boy now is under massive pressure from 3 other cars. Gary will now have DRS just in front of the 2 Aston Martins. Will be battling it out for the race win. Sutty here could be playing a great strategy. He's on the hard tyre and he can go to the end. He just needs to just lap similar to what the guys in front of him are doing. As Monkey Boy, we're looking from the rear wing of him as Fury now gets onto the back. Can Fury get past Monkey Boy? That's the question. He's going to be sick and tired of looking at the back of that AlphaTauri. As they go into the hairpin, the 2 race leaders are just pulling away at this stage. Fury has a great run through the first sector. He runs a little bit wide as they go down the main straight. There's Fury. He's got the DRS zone. He's going to look to the inside. No, he stays behind. Fury unable to find a way past the AlphaTauri right now. And that's just allowing the 2 Aston Martins to just disappear up the road as Matt's made a mistake. But also Fury's down the inside. And that's allowed Fury now in front of the AlphaTauri and Monkey Boy. He's also got the McLaren of Sutty not too far behind him on the hard tyre. Fury running really wide there. But more importantly, Gary is right on the back of Matt. Look at how close Gary is on the back of Matt here. Matt leading this race. He won't have the DRS, but Gary will. Here comes Gary. Now Fury's released on the soft tyre. He can now chase the 2 leaders. So Gary down the inside, a little bit easy for Gary there as the 2 teammates battle one another. But Gary now leads this race. But are they going to be too busy chasing one another while Fury is pumping in some decent lap times on those soft tyres? Now Sutty Apex is on the back of Monkey Boy. He's got Argent breathing down his neck as well. While this is all going on, PN Motorsport is caught Bryn in the Ferrari trying to hunt down that Mercedes, as also A. Smith runs a little bit wide. But we go back to the front here. Sutty, all these guys are battling it out for these good points here and some great racing from all of these guys so far. But Matt will want to gain as many points over Green Pies as he possibly can, but Gary wants a race win to his name, and you can't win them all. Gary is going to have to defend for his life down the back straight. Gary hangs on for this lap, but Fury will be hunting these two down on those soft tyres, unless he's burnt them all out trying to overtake Monkey Boy. But Fury now looking to try and catch the two Aston Martins. As the two Aston Martins go through Copse, Fury at the minute not able to stick with them. Monkey Boy's had a big hit, and he's out of the race. He's rolled it. Monkey Boy is out of this race, and a safety car has been deployed. What a massive accident we have had here. Right through Copse. I just caught the wiggle. I'm going to have to watch it on the stream because that was a massive hit. The AlphaTauri car of Monkey Boy is out of this race, and what a hit that was. Rabbit Joe coming through the final sector, first sector now. What does Sutty do? He's on the hard tyre at the minute. He could probably pit onto the medium and go to the end, but he's opting to stay out. Oh, this is going to be interesting, as Argent just in 5th place, A. Smith in 6th. Anyone opting to pit? Not at this stage. But wow, what a hit from Monkey Boy. Such a shame for him there. So that's going to allow Goten Duffin to get back ahead of him. Still no cars lapped at this stage, so Goten Duffin will stay on the lead lap as well. But what a hit from Monkey Boy. Wow. That was a big hit as well. So now we got an all British top 4. The two Aston Martins, the two McLarens, the Red Bull of Argent. Smithy in 6th place. 7th is Bryn. 8th is PN Motorsport. 9th is DJ Phil. 10th is Rabbit Joe. And 11th is Goten Duffin. What great racing we've had here tonight, guys. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel as well, and hit the bell to be notified for when we are live. Make sure you also tune in this week, as the GT3s will return to track Pro-Am and Pro. Make sure you tune in on Wednesday night, as myself and Kelly will bring you all the action for the Pro-Ams as they head to America, Laguna Seca, for the next round of the championship. Round 3, third to last round of this. Excuse me, third to last round of the season, and then 2 more tracks after that. 2 iconic circuits. We go to the Nürburgring, and Spa-Francorchamps is the final round of the GT3 Championship. Also, make sure you tune in next week on Saturday, as we will be hitting the track as the World Endurance Championship returns to Simplay Motorsport. The 6 hours of Fuji, as we'll be doing a night race with those. By the sounds of things, Ben Parkey is not able to race the LMP2, so there's an opportunity for a win in the LMP class. But also we have Mazda and Civic and possibly Sutty, all those guys in the GTEs, to give Andy a run for his money as well. So make sure you tune in for that as well, as I've drunken too much drink now and I really need a wee. But Gary at this moment leads the pack away and pole in the lead of this race. Guys, get your votes in for driver of the day, as we are now at the halfway stage of this race, or just gone past halfway. It's been a great race nonetheless, and yeah, it's been awesome to see these guys on track. We have lost 3 drivers so far: Monkey Boy, Green Pies and the Mutts Nuts, but still we got 11 cars on track, which is good to see. Some of these guys still haven't probably finished a race properly in a while, so it's nice to have some of these guys still finish. So it's Gary is your man who leads the way. Matt in 2nd. Fury in 3rd place. 4th is Sutty Apex. 5th is Argent. 6th is A. Smith. 7th is Bryn. 8th is PN Motorsport. 9th is DJ Phil. 10th is Rabbit Joe. And bringing up the rear is Goten Duffin. As the Aston Martin safety car leads the way here at Simpay Motorsport. And if you are guys that are interested in getting involved in the F1 Championship, there are seats available, so make sure you message either myself or Matt and then get yourself signed up for the championship. There's still half the season to go. Some great circuits we come to next and some teams that do need the points, so if you are interested, get in contact with myself or Matt and we can get you a seat in the F1. But if you are interested in any of the championships we have available, then make sure you have a look at our Facebook page and our Discord to get involved, as the safety car is in this lap. This time it's Gary who will control the pace, not Matt. As they come up to the final sector now, the safety car has disappeared in the distance. Who is going to get the best start? We'll keep an eye out for Fury on those soft tyres. He is going to be very, very quick, and will want to give these Aston Martins as much of a headache as he possibly can. Gary is off and away. I think he's gone, and we are racing here at Silverstone. Gary's properly gone. He's disappeared up the road. That's going to allow Fury to put Matt under massive pressure here. Oh, Fury with a little wiggle there, but Satya under massive pressure from Arjun and the rest of the pack. The rest of these guys weren't ready for that. Gary went really early, and now Matt is under serious pressure from Fury. Can Fury find a way through? That's the question. Matt is under some immense pressure from the McLaren. Can Fury attack these Aston Martins while his tyres are fresh still? He's on the softs. He's got the better tyre. Can he get them into the fast left-hander? He's not quite close enough. DRS is not enabled this lap. The thing that's helping out the most is Sutty with those hard tyres is sticking with the pack, and it's able him to go longer and longer into this race. So if the leaders do have to pit for fresh tyres, he will still be out on track with a decent gap, and these safety cars will help him out. As Matt is still defending from Fury as they go through Copse. A little wiggle on the braking there from Matt, as Gary is now trying to pull away from Matt, but Fury is not going to allow these Aston Martins easy, as he's right onto the back of Matt. He looks like he had a decent run through Maggots and Beckett's. Matt is just trying to hold back that McLaren, but further behind. Sutty is trying to defend from the rest of the pack, basically. But Matt has taken Fury with him, and Fury looking for any opportunity to get past him. Oh, as they hit each other! Matt getting away with that one, and Fury has just hit the back of Matt. And Matt is going to get away with that one, while Fury has front wing damage. And that's going to allow Gary to extend his lead. As Sutty now gets ahead of Fury. Argent gets ahead of Fury as well. That front wing damage is hurting him massively. And he has a big wiggle. Fury dropping backward and backwards and backwards now. He's now lost out to A. Smith. Now Bryn's going to look and move around the outside. No, he doesn't. Fury just trying to stay out of the way, and does so really well. So Fury with damage staying out of the way while the whole pack goes in front of him. PM Motorsport down the inside of Bryn. Can he get the job done? Not quite. He's going to have to stay behind him a little bit longer. So PM Motorsport unable to find a way past Bryn, as Bryn trying to stay ahead of the Ferrari, and Fury is just dropping down the pack with that front wing damage. He's now got Rabbit Joe breathing down his neck. Can Rabbit Joe find a way past? I'm pretty sure he will. That's Rabbit Joe now on to the back of Fury. Can he find a way through? That's the question. PM Motorsport trying to stick with Bryn. Bryn looking to hold on to that 6th place position. That'd be a great position for Bryn at this stage. His best result is 9th at Australia, sorry. So Bryn, every point that he can get will do him massively, as DRS is now enabled. Argent is now onto the back as Fury goes into the pits. Probably for that front wing. Goten Duffin has got a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. But Argent now right onto the back of the McLaren of Sutty Apex. He'll want to try and clear him as quickly as he possibly can. Into the DRS zone they go. Argent's rear wing has opened up, but he's not able to do anything at this stage. as we go through the back straight and into Cop's corner. Arjun looking to try and make any opportunity he can past Sati Apex, but Sati on those hards are managing to match the pace relatively around him, so he's doing a great job of that. Matt has now brought the gap down to his teammate. He will get DRS zone as they come down the back straight now, but Arjun now in the DRS zone is looking to make a move on Sati Apex around the outside. Can he get the job done? Sati's going to hang it out and push him wide, and he does so. Arjun unable to get past, so Arjun now staying behind Sati Apex, as I do have to pop to the toilet momentarily because I'm bursting, so give me a second as Matt sets the fastest lap of the race, and I'll leave you with these guys to fight, but I do need to pop to the toilet very quickly. Apologies for that, guys, as I am back now, and it looks like Arjun is still haven't found a way past Sati Apex, and also Matt is still in that second place position. Arjun with a little slide there and has lost out to Sati. Sati pulling away massively now, and still 5.5 seconds off the leading two. But these two could be in a danger zone if they start running out of tyres. Sati still going to the end. Sati looking pretty good on those hard tyres at this stage. Smithy in the comments earlier on saying Little Smith in 6th place, good points for him. He's now up into 5th place, and more points for him now as well, as Rabbit Joe is on the back of Bryn. Looking to try and make a move past him, as Arjun just needs to stick to Sati and try and get the advantage in the DRS zone. But the problem with these type of cars these days is they're so difficult to follow one another. Matt is in the DRS zone. He's looking to make a move on Gary as they go up into the quick right-hander. Matt down the inside, and Gary's going to hold it strong on the outside. He gets the job done, and Matt stays ahead. The only problem is Gary has got a 3-second penalty, so Matt could actually follow home as they get really close to one another. Matt down the inside. Gary's going to chop his nose, and Gary stays ahead. Arjun is now ahead of Sati, but Sati comes back down the inside, and Arjun has to run wide. And Sati stays in 4th place position, so Arjun gets the job done in the DRS zone. So now Sati comes back at Arjun around the outside. Those hard tyres can't be hindering him too much because he's back on the attack and ahead of Kieran Arjun once again. All the time these two are busy fighting one another. The top two are just pulling away as Matt is now 2 tenths behind Gary as he had the DRS zone and is unable to find a way through there. Time is running out. We're on to lap 33, 19 to go. Can Gary and Matt hang on to this 1-2? And Matt's main rival of Green Pies out of this race. Fury still on his own at this precise stage, but Rabbit Joe is on to the back of Bryn and is still trying to find a way past on him. So all good racing up and down the grid right now, but it is Gary who leads the way. He's coming through through the main back straight now with Matt in the DRS zone. These two having a great little fight. The two Aston Martins duking it out for the race win right now. Sutty currently in 3rd place. Argent's lost a lot of time. He's down in 4th place, but he's now got A. Smith coming at him, and A. Smith down the inside. He's going to get the job done, and past Argent he goes. AlphaTauri overtakes their senior team, and that's Argent with front wing damage, and he's into the pits. A. Smith now up into 4th place position. Sutty still hanging it on in 3rd, while the top 2 are still battling it out. Matt's actually lost a little bit of time to Gary here. Gary needs to start extending the gap now, because he has got that 3-second penalty hovering over his head, as Matt is really seems to be struggling there. Onto the grass near enough. And he's lost a bit of time to Sutty as well. So Sutty, on those harder tyres, is able to just stay a little bit closer to the guys in front, but he won't need to pit. This is the thing. Sutty's in a good spot here. As Matt has managed to catch up to Gary once again. 6/10 separating those two. As Argent comes back out on track right behind Goten Duffin. He'll want to clear him as fast as he possibly can. As there, Argent down the inside of Goten Duffin. Can he get the job done? It looks like he can. Fury's just behind these two as well on the medium tyre, but Argent's gone wide. He's gone very wide. That's allowed Fury through. And Goten Duffin stays ahead of the pair of them. Yellow flag in sector 2. That is for Argent going wide. But still, the Aston Martins leave 1 and 2 with Gary the leading car. Fury now up into 9th place, and Goten Duffin loses out to Fury as they head into Maggots and Beckett's. Evening to Jamie Brazy in the comments. Nice to see you in the comments, buddy, as Gary is still leading this race. 2nd is Matt, and Matt is trying to find a way past on his teammate, but he can't seem to do so at this minute. And this is the view of Gary from behind. Oh, both of them taking a lot of curb there. As Matt is really trying to get onto the back of his teammate and try and get an advantage into the next straight. Try and use the DRS zone down the hanger straight. As there goes Matt. He's in the DRS zone. He goes to the outside. I really don't get the idea of people going around the outside, but Gary's going to hold the inside strong, but Matt gets the job around the outside and he retakes this lead. But Gary comes back at him, and Matt has to concede. Matt drops back behind. After all that hard work, he's dropped back behind again. So Matt is really struggling to find a way past Gary here. And I tell you now, Matt, if you're able to get ahead of Gary, that's a fair job to you, because I think it was, what, season 3, we ran at GT3s, myself and Gary, both in the Porsche 911. I was hunting him down, and he is the most difficult person to pass at Silverstone. I have not come anything across like that. Gary is a beast around Silverstone, any British circuits, and he's very good. They're going wheel to wheel. Look at this, both the Aston Martins. Gary sticks on the outside, and he'll have the inside for the next corner. That's allowed Matt to go around the outside, and Matt now losing out again to Gary. These two are having a great little fight. They don't want to hit one another, because in a minute they're going to have big trouble if they hit one another. So two Aston Martins. We've got a yellow flag in sector 1. Why we've got a yellow flag? That is Goten Duffin is out of this race. We have a yellow flag. We have a full-blown safety car. Goten Duffin is out of this race. Now, who is going to pit? Do the Aston Martin boys pit? That's the question. Gary is pitting. So is Matt. This time Matt's going to get held up in the pits. The question is, what does Sutty Apex do? This is going to help Fury get to the back of the pack, as will Argent. Will Sutty pit? He will pit. A. Smith will carry on, and I think A. Smith should lead this race then. Gary's in. So is Matt. Matt will have to wait a little bit longer. Sutty's in. Where is A. Smith? A. Smith will lead the British Grand Prix here at Simplay Motorsport after a yellow flag has caused by Goten dropping it. That's also put Rabbit Joe up a place, and also Bryn. So all these guys opting for the soft tyre while these guys are staying out on the medium. I don't think these guys quite know that they are under a safety car right now. But it is A. Smith who leads this race. Here you go, Smithy. Smithy leads this race. Wow. He's opting to stay out on those mediums. He's done 18 laps on those mediums. He needs to do another... God, he's got quite a way to go, to be fair. So he might have to put the softs towards the end. Everyone onto softs here. Rabbit Joe with the best life tyres at the minute. If anything, Rabbit Joe is probably the best out of the front three on the medium tyre. Gary obviously in 4th place with the softs. Matt in 5th. Sutty Apex now on softs and is right behind the 2 Aston Martins. To be fair, Matt hasn't lost a position from that. You don't hear that often, N-Dubs. No, we don't. We don't often hear a Smithy leading a race. And the little one is doing it right now, and he is leading the British Grand Prix here at Simplay Motorsport, ahead of Rabbit Joe in 2nd. 3rd is Bryn. 4th is Gary. 5th is Matimovic. 6th is Sutty Apex. 7th is PN Motorsport. 8th is DJ Phil. 9th is Fury, and in 10th place is Argent. None of the top 3 up to pit, so these guys, it would be pointless pitting now. If they're going to do this strategy, they've got to see it through, personally, I think. If they want this to work, they've got to make it work to the end now. Fury also opts to put the soft tyres on. DJ Phil's put the hard tyres on, I'm not sure why. Possibly ran out of softs and mediums. But this is turning out to be a great fight towards the end. Who's on most pit stops? Kieran Argent on 4 pit stops. Fury on 3, DJ Phil 3, 2 for Sutty, 2 for Matt, 2 for Gary, 1 for Bryn, 2 for Rabbit Joe, and 2 for A. Smith. 2 stop was what was predicted. This is your change of positions. A. Smith currently up 6, also Rabbit Joe up 8, Bryn up 11, Gary down 1. Matt down 4, Sutty down 4, PN Motorsport currently up 1, DJ Phil up 3, Fury down 4, Argent down 4, but Goten Duffin just misses out on a points paying position, and Gary the only one with a penalty at this stage. So what can the guys in the medium tyre cars do? They do get a chance to save their tyres with this safety car procedure. We're just waiting on Argent to catch the back of the pack, but the medium boys are going to be struggling. But what can the soft tyre guys do? They'll need to clear this traffic as quickly as they possibly can. But Sutty and PN Motorsport, with those soft tyres, will be able to push straight away on the top 2. Can they give them a headache? Can PN Motorsport get his first podium? That is the question. PN Motorsport's best result so far is a 4th place at Monaco. Sutty's best position is a 4th as well, so Sutty would like to be on the podium also. That was Canada and Bahrain for Sutty, as race control have cleared the track. We're about to get underway and racing here, as A. Smith will control the pace here, and we'll be getting racing here once again. A. Smith, your race leader here at Simplay Motorsport, as we go into the final corner. As Smithy starts to turn up the pace, he's not quite ready yet. Rabbit Joe just behind him. As Smith goes into the chicane, he heads towards Club. When is he going to go? And it sounds like he's gone. A. Smith has gone. Rabbit Joe with a poor start there. And Gary already trying to make a move on Bryn. But he'll have to wait a little bit longer because it's not green yet. But Gary has found a way through. So Gary has got past Bryn straight away. Bryn just stepping out of the way and letting all the cars through. Bryn's coming back at Matt though. But Bryn's going to hang it out. He's going to stay on the inside of Matt and he gets the job done. That's going to allow Sutty to have a look as well. Sutty will want to clear Bryn with Matt as he does so. But Gary's cleared one, so has Matt. Rabbit Joe and A. Smith are on their way. So Bryn now under pressure from Sutty. Sutty will look to try and make a move on him as quickly as he can. But he can't do at this minute. A. Smith with a brilliant restart is on his way and leading this race. Sutty there right on the back of Bryn and looking to make a move on him. But meanwhile Gary is on the back of Rabbit Joe and want to clear the Haas as quickly as he possibly can. Gary going to the outside of Maggot. He's on the grass. Can he get the job done? And he does so. Rabbit Joe gives him the respect, but Rabbit Joe's still there. I know he's just ahead of Matt at him, so Gary is gone. Matt is right on the back of Rabbit Joe. Rabbit Joe is trying to hold on for as best he can, but he ends up lifting and allowing them through. Sutty down the inside of Bryn. And Sutty moves up another place. Sutty now on a mission to stick with the Aston Martins. He is now on the inside of Rabbit Joe. He looks like he's going to get the job done, but there goes Bryn. He misses his braking by a mile. That holds up Rabbit Joe. And Sutty gets through. Fury's just behind him as well. Fury's on a move. He's now behind Bryn. PM Motorsport losing places here, but he's now made a place on Rabbit Joe. Rabbit Joe just hanging in there. Argent behind as well. All these guys banning it on the soft tyres. But Sutty looks like he's got the job done on Bryn. He can now chase after the two Aston Martins. Fury now wanting to clear the Mercedes. Cam McLaren chase the Aston Martins down. Fury down the inside. And he looks like he's got the job done. We go back to the leaders. A. Smith hanging on for dear life on those medium tyres. He's got Gary breathing down his neck. And he won't allow him to get past him that easy. Gary looking to make a move up in Cops. A. Smith on the outside. Can he get the job done? Smith keeps it pinned. Gary keeps it pinned. He makes contact. They wiggle. But Gary loses out. And A. Smith still leads this race. He is going to be defending for this position for his life here. Now Matt's joining the party. Matt cutting the track by quite a bit. The Aston Martins now split the AlphaTauri of A. Smith. This could end extremely badly. But Matt and A. Smith make contact. Matt runs wide. A. Smith stays in front, I think. He's on the inside. Gary still leads this race. Is A. Smith still there? A. Smith is still fighting this out and is holding Matt up. At this stage, Matt might lose this race as Matt drops it! Gary leads this race, but Sutty Apex up a place, Bryn up a place, Fury up a place, and Matt has dropped to 8th place. He's going to drop to 10th. DJ Phil gets past. We will get a new race winner here. Lap 41, and Matt has dropped to 10th place position. Gary 131 leads this race. A. Smith still in second. Sutty is hunting him down though. Gary with that 3-second penalty. Sutty could win this race. He needs to hunt down Gary now. He needs to clear A. Smith as quickly as he possibly can. Fury also could have an opportunity for a podium. He needs to clear these cars as quickly as he can. He's cleared Bryn. Now he needs to chase the leaders. Wow. There's me saying that Matt and Green Pie is the only ones to win a race, and Matt is currently down in 9th place position. He is 5 seconds behind PN Motorsport. Wow, what a race has turned out to be. Gary in second, leading this race, but A. Smith in second. He's got Sutty breathing down his neck. Sutty looking down the inside as they go into the final sector now. Sutty can smell a race win. It's been a while since Sutty's had a win, and he'll want one massively right now. He's currently in 3rd place. He is on his way to possibly take Gary on. They've just dropped out of the 3-second gap that Gary has. A. Smith on those medium tyres, wanting to stay on the podium for as long as he possibly can. And he's done a fantastic job though. Sutty will have the DRS. This is to be the advantage for him. Gary is still leading this race though. He's made that 3-second gap to the next car. So at this minute, A. Smith is holding Sutty back and doing everything for Gary. Sutty down the inside, and he looks like he's got the job done. Sutty now ahead of A. Smith. Now, can Sutty take the gap down? 3.3 seconds between Gary and himself. Fury now looking to try and catch on the back of A. Smith. Can he clear him? All the medium boys runners are struggling with these soft tyre guys as they're all just swamping past them. Matt, though's coming back in 9th place. He's brought the gap down to PN Motorsport by half. Can he get a little bit closer? PN on the soft tyre as well. But he's looking to try and make a move on Rabbit Joe. And this is why I said to Green Pies, everything can still happen here. We're going to look like we're going to get a new race winner here. Simply Motorsport for the F1 cars. 18 people currently watching the stream right now. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. And hit the subscribe button if you are new. Argent right onto the back of Bryn. Can he find a way past? Bryn currently in his best position yet. The 5th place. Gary setting the lap times alight as Sutty is a lot slower. He's 4 seconds off the pace now. So even with Gary pumping in some decent lap times, Sutty can't match him. As Matt goes faster himself, he's now caught these two, Rabbit Joe and PN Motorsport. Also, Argent still trying to find a way past. We go on board with Rabbit Joe. He has got Matt and PN right behind him. And Matt trying everything he can to get ahead of PN Motorsport. PN Motorsport with the DRS, so Matt with DRS as well. They're going to be even, and PN lets him go. Why are you doing that, PN? Fight him! Also, Bryn and Argent still going at it. Argent trying to find a way past on those soft tyres. He gets down the inside and he gets past Bryn. Sutty at the minute with no answer as Bryn is going to defend the inside of Cops, and he hits contact with Argent. They both run wide. These two really battling it out here. As Matt's just behind as well. He's right on the back of Rabbit Joe. You have to slow right down there. We go down the hanger straight. All these guys get DRS thanks to Bryn. As Argent and Matt now separated by each other. As Argent goes really wide there. Matt going around the outside of the Red Bull. He won't get the job done there. The thing is, Argent's on fresh softs as well. So now this is the hardest challenge for Matt he's had so far. He's trying to pass Argent. Fury has caught A. Smith. But we go back to this fight. Bryn is trying everything he possibly can to stay ahead of the Red Bull and the Aston Martin. Matt looking all over the place to try and find a way past Argent, but he can't do so, and he hits. Argent hits the back of Bryn, and Bryn's gone round. Oh, that's a shame for Bryn. He's dropped right back down. Fury now moves up a place ahead of A. Smith. This is McLaren on their way to a possible double podium here. We were looking at Aston Martin with a double podium. It's now McLaren with a double podium. Matt has now cleared Argent. Can Matt catch A. Smith towards the end? 8 seconds is the gap. PN Motorsport now down the inside of Rabbit Joe. Rabbit Joe just hanging in there for as long as he possibly can. PN Motorsport looking down the inside, but he can't get the job done. Rabbit Joe will stay ahead on those medium tyres, really struggling now. The first medium car is A. Smith, and he's doing a fantastic job in 4th place. He's staying in the DRS zone of Fury, so it will help him stay further away from Matt at this stage. But Gary 131 still leading this race ahead of Sutty Apex. Gary can't afford to make a mistake. He's got a 3-second penalty to his name. And Sutty will want to try and hunt him down as quickly as he can. Sutty just doesn't seem to have the pace as Gary. Fury though, looking rather quick himself, currently in 3rd place position. A bit of gravel caught up by A. Smith there. 5th now is Matahimovic. He's cleared Argent and Rabbit Joe, and those two are still battling it out. Well, we've got Argent and Rabbit Joe and PN still battling it out for 7th and 8th place. Can PN Motorsport find a way past? As Gary setting the lap times alight on his own. Rabbit Joe, just a little bit all over the place there, but he's able to stay ahead of PN Motorsport. A little wiggle from himself. Can PN find a way through? That's the question. You want to get a good drive out of this corner. And he's not able to do so. Rabbit Joe able to stay in front in the Haas. Go through Cops. PN gets a much better drive through there. As Fury's now bringing that gap down to his teammate, Sutty Apex. PN Motorsport really getting close to the back of the Haas. He's got DRS though, and this should help him out. As he comes down towards the quick right-hander, PN Motorsport up the inside. Can he get the job done? Yes, he does. Ferrari now move up a place. Brilliant stuff there from PN Motorsport. He is now ahead of Rabbit Joe. Can he do anything about Argent? That is the question. A. Smith's gap to Matt has dropped to 4.6 seconds. So Matt's bringing that gap down, but he's running out of laps. He's running out of time. A. Smith still leading this race. Sorry, A. Smith still in 4th place. Sorry, he's still the leading medium tyre runner. Sorry guys, it's been a long weekend. I'm a little bit tired now. More importantly, Fury has now started to catch his teammate Sutty Apex in 2nd place. McLaren going against one another. Who's going to be the one? Oh, Fury takes a lot of curb and gets a big wiggle. Matt for podium still. Jamie, I think that's a little bit optimistic at this stage. He's got to catch these two who are on the softer tyre. A. Smith is definitely catchable. As PN Motorsport has passed Argent, so Argent's made a mistake somewhere. So now PN Motorsport is ahead of Kieran Argent. And Rabbit Joe right onto the back of Argent. Argent struggling here. And Rabbit Joe has to go onto the grass there. And Kieran Argent just having to lose a place there to Rabbit Joe. You see in the background Bryn and DJ Phil bringing up the rear. I'm not sure why DJ Phil went to the hards. Worst tyre to be on at this stage. But Rabbit Joe and Argent still going at it. And Rabbit Joe still holding on to those medium tyres. All these guys will score points. But more importantly, Matt is bringing that gap down to A. Smith. He's caught him up by less than 2 seconds now. But more importantly, Fury is on the back of his teammate. 3 tenths, 2 tenths. It's getting close. Sutty is hanging in there. But Fury is purple sector 1. So Fury is flying at this stage. But they got to hope for Gary to have a mistake here. But Fury and Sutty really looking good here for a double podium for McLaren. They've just got to keep it on track. That's Rabbit Joe right on the back of PN. But Fury looking to try and make a move into Maggots and Beckett's. He can't get the job done. Matt has now caught A. Smith. Fury now into the DRS zone. And look at that. Fury's gone past and Sutty allows his teammate through. So Fury now into 2nd place. He's got to hope for a lot for Gary now too. He needs his tyres to suddenly drop off. Matt has got past A. Smith. So can Matt catch Sutty towards the end? That is the question. A. Smith currently 5th place and looking to try and get past Matt. But Matt with those softer tyres will probably stay ahead. Matt setting the fastest lap of the race at 29.2. PN Rabbit and Argent sends it on Rabbit Joe there into the chicane. And Rabbit Joe with no warning there have to get out of it. And Argent now upper place. So PN now has to be careful of Argent as DJ Phil's into the pits. Sutty still sticking to the back of Fury. Both of these two will now have to work together as Sutty goes purple sector 1. They have to work together so that they can keep Matt at bay. But at the minute, Gary is looking so good for a race win here. Which British team is going to have the double win? Is it going to be the double podium? Is it going to be Aston Martin? Or is it going to be McLaren? Fury and Sutty looking very good for good points here. Fury currently, his best result would be second, and he's matching that right now in second place. Sutty's best result is a fourth at Canada and Bahrain. We'll finally get to hear Sutty Apex on the podium if he just sticks to the back of his teammate. But Matt is coming for the pair of them. We're on to lap 49. Matt is running out of time. Both of the McLaren boys doing a fantastic job at this stage. We'll go further back. Argent has managed to clear Rabbit Joe by a fair amount now. The problem is the soft tyre runners will now start to feel degrading. They will now start to feel the struggles. A. Smith currently still in 5th and will probably stay at 5th place. So good points for him. The question is, can Matt catch these two McLarens? I honestly don't think he can. He's not doing the lap times that he needs to be doing. He's taking a couple of tenths here and there out, but I just don't think it's enough from Matt here. You all think that Matt's going to get a podium. I genuinely think it's going to be a mountain for him to climb. These McLaren boys using the DRS, and Matt Fury with the more pace. Sutty's just sticking with him and using the DRS to stay with him. Matt much quicker through Maggots and Beckett's there. But once again, DRS, and they extend their gap. The McLaren boys are staying ahead. Sutty knows what he needs to do here. He just has to stick to Fury. And he knows that Fury has the pace, so they can stick to one another. They cross the line. Matt comes towards the line. He's trying his absolute best to catch the two McLarens. It's 2.8 now. One thing is to get onto the back of them. The next thing is to then pass the pair of them. Oh, this is going to be a great fight towards the end. Meanwhile, Rabbit Joe is back ahead of Argent. Argent looking to try and make a move on the Haas. And Argent, like I said, I think he's struggling with those soft tyres. And Rabbit Joe still holding on to 7th place position as best he possibly can. They're not a million miles away from PN Motorsport either. He's just 2.5 up the road. So it's very close racing towards the end here. The final stage is here. Matt has brought the gap to 2.1. As once again, the McLaren boys go through Copse. Oh, Sutty running a little bit wide there. This is it. These McLaren boys have to be on the knife edge here. Matt is coming at them really quickly. As they're now fighting, Fury and Sutty going at it. Sutty goes up into 2nd place. Fury drops to 3rd. Now these two are racing one another. That will help Matt out get a little bit closer. And Gary will be gone down the road. Lap 51 of 52. Sutty now in 2nd place. These two have got 2 more laps to do. Matt has caught them, but he needs to pass them. That's the next thing. And these two aren't the easiest to overtake either. Probably 2 of the hardest guys to overtake in the league. As Beffernan Duffy says, I'm sure he'll do his very best. He's on it. And I think he is as well. As Argent into the pits, he's lost the front wing, I think. But Fury and Sutty, they're going to have to work together. Sutty lets his teammate through. Fury goes into the corner. The McLaren boys having to work together. Matt has caught them. Matt has a lap and a half to get past them. And we know Sutty will fight to the death for this one as Matt gets right onto the back of Sutty there. McLaren 2 and 3 at the minute. Matt looking to try and make any move as he possibly can on the 2 McLaren boys. But they're working well together. Can they hang on for one more lap? That's the question. As Matt really cuts the corner there. He tries to get a good run. Sutty gets the better run. And he will stay ahead. He's using the battery power. He's harvesting. Fury defends the inside. Sutty's going to go around the outside. And then Fury's going to shut the door by the looks of things. No, Matt's going to stick it out on the outside. And Fury sticks to the outside. Sutty on the inside. There's nowhere for Matt to go. He's been boxed in. Fury pushes Matt wide. They go side by side, and Matt gets past Fury. Now Sutty is the next target. As Matt is trying everything he can to get past the McLaren boys, but they're not making it easy. As Sutty goes down the inside of Matt. Matt has to think better of it. Sutty, bad wiggle there. He wants to get the good drive out the hairpin. And he does so. He's now going to be right on the back of Matt. Matt has just dropped off. Sorry, Fury is trying to get a job on Sutty. Fury's going around the outside. Sutty defending the inside. Fury around the outside. He thinks better of it. Sutty hanging in there. We're going to have to go back to our race leaders in a minute. But this is a great fight between the final podium positions. Fury is so close. Matt is just within the podium at this stage. Sutty defends the inside for Copse. Matt's going to have to go the long way around. And he does so. But he goes off track. He overtakes off track. He's going to have to allow Sutty back through. Sutty down the inside of Maggots and Beckett's. Fury's there. Just keeping an eye on where Gary is. Fury wants a good run through Maggots and Beckett's. Sutty's hanging in there. Sutty defends the inside. But there's nothing they can do. Matt down the inside. But coming into the final corner here, Gary 131 wins the British Grand Prix here at Simplane Motorsport. But Matt has managed to get up into second place and has passed the McLaren boys and will come home for second place here for the British Grand Prix. Sutty will get third. Fury will get third. So, yeah, Fury will get third. Sutty will have to stick with fourth place. Fifth will go A. Smith. Sixth place is PM Motorsport. I believe this is, it's not his best position, but good points, none for PM Motorsport in sixth place position. Seventh place is Rabbit Joe. Good stuff for Rabbit Joe. Good points for him, and I think that's his best result. Yeah, yes it is. Seventh place for him. Good points for him. Bryn's going to come home and get his best result. Eighth place, just outdoing himself in Austria. So good stuff for Bryn. Argent and DJ Phil will bring the rest up as well. And it is Fury. I think Sutty got a penalty right at the end. I think he did. Argent nicks the fastest lap of the race. So Argent will take fastest lap. I will get the top three in here now. So it is Gary 131 who takes your win. Get your votes in for driver of the day as I get Matt and Fury and Gary as well. And that is your British Grand Prix over and done with. Driver of the day goes to Bryn according to the game. Guys, get your votes for driver of the day. It's so difficult to choose from here, as the tables are being updated as I speak. But according to the game, it's Bryn who's driver of the day. Jamie says Matt driver of the day. My vote is going to have to go the way of Gary. I think he deserves driver of the day. PM Emplava says Matt. There's a few more comments coming in. Fury's granddad saying great racing. Well done to all. Well done to son from Mummy D. Well, she says driver of the day. As we do have the top three in with us right now. And Argent does steal that extra point at the end for fastest lap. But it is Gary 131 who takes your win here at the British Grand Prix. Matt is second, third is Fury, fourth is Sutty, fifth is A. Smith, sixth is PM Motorsport, seventh is Rabbit Joe, eighth is Bryn, ninth is Argent, 10th is DJ Phil, and then your non-finishers are Goten, Duffbin, Monkey Boy, Green Pies, which will dampen his championship threats here, and the Mutt Nuts brings up the rear. The championship standings, have they been updated, Matt?
Yes, mate.
The championship standings look like this. Matimovic leads the way with 149 points, 45 clear of Green Pies.
63.
Well, mine hasn't updated here.
Oh. Do you want me to go through them for you?
Hang on a minute, let me just hit refresh.
Okay.
That's probably why. But we'll start with the interviews actually while we wait for that, and we'll start with Fury. And Fury, I bet that was an intense final couple of laps with your teammate and Matt breathing down your neck, but nonetheless it was great to watch. And third place, great racing from you.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened considering Sutty actually finished in front of me on track. There was like a 2/10 gap between us going across the line, so I'm not exactly sure how I got third because he has no penalties either, but it was great racing from him, Matt, everyone that I was having fights with. It was all close battles and I was enjoying it to say the least.
I was going to say, according to me, I thought you had that fourth place, and I thought Sutty had third. But according to the classifications, you did have third. Nonetheless, great racing from all you guys. It looked bleak earlier on. You're really struggling, especially on the medium tyre. Tell us about that earlier on.
The medium tyre I thought would have been better to start off with, but I guess that guess was just far wrong. The mediums just felt so slidey in the first 25 laps, and after that they just felt so much more better.
Yeah. But yourself and your teammate Sutty together seem like a great pairing for McLaren, and hopefully with you two together, hopefully you can gain some more points in McLaren Championship for yourselves.
Yeah, the couple of races I've done with Sutty have felt amazing to obviously just have a teammate as well race alongside. Kelly is an amazing teammate as well, can't put that past him. Just a shame that real life takes over, but yeah, Sutty's a great teammate. There's a lot of team talks and everything going on, and yeah, he's a good teammate and a good racer.
Well, nonetheless, mate, great job on third place in the race, and it was great to watch towards the end there.
Cheers, mate.
We then move on to second place man, Matt, and that was a bit intense for the last couple of laps. You one minute you're at the back of the pack, next minute you're back on the podium.
Yeah, that's probably one of the best drives I think I've ever had there. That was tough.
Well, obviously earlier on you must have saw that obviously Green Prize dropped it, and that really probably gave you a bit more encouragement to finish on the podium, because that would extend your championship lead.
Yeah, I hate it when people go out the race, especially your title challengers, because you want to have a good fight at the end of the season. I know he missed Hungary because he messaged me earlier, and shame to see him crash out, but at the same time you need to capitalise on them points when your rivals aren't there. So it was a case of try and maximise this. When I had the spin, me and Gary was fighting hard and fair all race, and when I had the spin, it was difficult. And it was a case of getting as many points back as the end as possible. I thought I was going to run out of laps with Fiori and Sutty, and there was some questionable driving at the end there as well, but nonetheless we got the second place.
Well, to be honest, there's quite a lot of not just from a certain number of drivers, but there's quite a lot of questionable drivers and a lot of track limits from a lot of drivers, to be honest. And nonetheless, it was a great scrap towards the end. It seemed to take a lot of you guys a while to get past A. Smith on the medium tyres. It seemed Rabbit Joe and Bryn were quite easy to clear, but as soon as you got onto Smithy, he seemed to really hold his own.
Gary seemed to get the run on Bryn a lot earlier than what me and Sutty did, and then Bryn made it tough for us. Joe then made it a little tough for Gary, a bit easier for me on the Hanger Straight. Smithy, though, held his own, and fair play to Smithy. He's getting stronger week in, week out. So he took the podium last week. He held his own against Gary and myself, and we were three abreast. I tried to get him at the final corner. We came wheel to wheel, One of them things, it was just hard racing. We came wheel to wheel. I think what did me was I hit the sausage curb while we was close together. That's what unsettled me and spun me round. No one's fault but my own. I probably should have been more patient. But cracking, but you know what? Tonight's bit, there's been some good battles up and down. I had fun with Gary, I had fun with Fiori at the end there. Smithy I had fun with. Yeah, it was a good night, to be fair. Good night's worth racing. Like you say, quite a bit of track limits from majority of us. I think there was a lot of track limits
A
going on down there as well.
Well, I think everyone took track limits at one point. So
yeah, I think Cops was the big one out of Cops.
Well, either way, you leave Silverstone at the halfway stage, 63 points ahead of Green Pies. You get a week's break as the World Endurance head onto track, but then you head to the Hungaroring. What are your thoughts on that?
don't like the Hungaroring, so it is going to be a tough battle there. It's going to be an absolutely monumental battle to get through there in one piece, because I'm not a big lover of that circuit. But at the same time, we've just got to maximise the points. Not only have me and Gary got to do it in the constructors, because that's not yet wrapped up, we've got to do it for the drivers as well. Gary, he's brought himself back into contention tonight. We know how quick Gary is, and he's brought himself right back into contention with that win. He's pulled himself, what is he now? He's 22 off the back of Green Pies. Another win, and all of a sudden he's in front of Green Pies, and he closes the gap a bit more to me. So Gary's not done in this championship yet.
No, but congratulations on the recovery drive towards the end, and good points for your team as well, with a double podium as well, so good stuff for Aston Martin. And we do move on to our race winner, the only other man to take a race win, our third winner here in the F1 Championship. And Gary, you finally got the pair of them, and that was a great drive from yourself. I actually gave you driver of the day. I thought you did a fantastic job. How does it feel winning your first F1 race?
Yeah, it's good. It's been a long time coming. Had the pace, but like I said, I've made some silly mistakes in other races and had bad luck, but managed to get the break there, and yeah, got me head down and cracked on.
There was a couple of moments between yourself and Matt where it got a little bit close. Even myself was watching you got very close to one another, but nonetheless it was a great fight, and you two seem to give good respect to one another.
I know I can race with Matt anytime, any place, any car, any track. We know what each other does, and he'll gain on one corner, I'll gain on the next. It's just part of the race, and as long as you keep it all clean and don't dump each other out, you're alright.
Yeah, as you said, as Matt just said, you got to the midpoint of the season. You're only 22 points behind Green Pies. Can you make it an Aston Martin 1-2 in the championship?
Well, we'll be giving it a good go. Let's just hope that I'm on top of the championship rather than Matt is. But yeah, we'll see about that near the time. I'm sure he'll let us race wheel to wheel when the constructors is sorted. So yeah.
Well, after finally taking the race win, I hope there's many more to come and you finally take the fight to Matt and Green Pie. So congratulations on the win. Matt, congratulations on Driver of the Day. Majority of the chat is giving you Driver of the Day.
Oh, cheers, chat.
So congratulations on that. But your championship standing does look like this. We leave the halfway point, a little break for the guys as World Endurance will hit the track, 6 hours of Fuji, so tune in next Saturday for that. But it is Matt Imovic who leads the way, with Green Pies in second, only 63 points behind. He's lost a massive amount of points to him, but Gary's hunting him down in third place, 22 points separating those two. Mazda currently in fourth as he's not turned up tonight. PN Motorsport has now moved up to fifth place, with Fury now in sixth, Sutty now in seventh. That's a really close fight, those three separated by 2 points. Great racing from them. A Smith, another solid job, moves him now up to 8th place ahead of Emo Guy. Monkey Boy in 10th. 11th is the Mutts Nuts. D-Biggs drops down to 12th. DJ Phil in 13th. KLF in 14th. Arjun in 15th. Rabbit Joe 16th. Go10 Duffin in 17th. Bryn in 18th after scoring some good points. And Leon Fernie brings up the rear. Regarding your teams, Aston Martin are way ahead at this stage, currently leading away with 249 points, 156 points ahead of their closest rival Williams. They're in second. Third place is Haas. Fourth is McLaren, and on their way up with their new pairing of Sutty and Fury, can they take the fight to Haas and Williams? That's the question. Fifth is AlphaTauri, sixth is Alpine, seventh is Ferrari, eighth is Alfa Romeo, ninth is Red Bull, and bringing up the rear is Mercedes. But guys, that is it from me. Make sure you tune in the week as we have the GT3s back on track this week as we head to Laguna Seca Pro-Am with myself and Kelly commentating that, and tune in on Thursday nights as you will have the Pro Boys hitting the track as well, with Matt and Jamie bringing you the coverage on there. And a week's break for the F1 guys until they come back to Hungaroring, but instead we will have the 6 hours of Fuji and night race. Ben Parkey not able to make this race, so who can take the win in LMP2? Can Exmar get the win after a couple of great rounds, or can myself or Nikki or Fury or even KLF, who's joining the grid for LMP2, can any of these guys take the win? And also GTEs will return as well, with Mazda, Andy, Sutty and Civic all going at it as well in there. So make sure you tune in Saturday midday for the World Endurance 6 hours of Fuji. But from myself, from everyone here at Sinclair Motorsport, it's been a great night's racing here at the British Grand Prix, and it's a good night from me.
tuning in tonight. Thanks for being a part of the chat. That was a mega effort there.